All right, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. It is 6:30. I'm here on time. I don't even understand how it is pouring in the Northeast. So bring your umbrella. Make sure you're prepared, and hopefully you can get in. I gotta believe there's gonna be some delayed openings. But anyway, it is December 18th. It's Monday. It's a new week. Less than 2 weeks to go into 2024. I remember it was a year ago, sitting in this chair, every single economist in the world was calling for a recession, bear market, S&P 3400. That's why you try not to make projections, right? You let the market tell you what's going to happen. You know, you follow the trends. You listen to the 8 and 21-day moving average. You know, you have multiple thought process plans, and then when the market confirms it, boom, you try and execute, you try and ride it out versus fight it. You know, a lot of people have been actually fighting this last recent move, even from, you know, the Fed on Wednesday when, you know, they came out pretty dovish saying there's going to be 3 cuts, and that spurred another move. And here we are today. So the question is, what happens between now and the end of the year? Usually strong stocks stay strong because nobody wants to sell them, right? Who wants to pay taxes in April? And then sometimes you start to get the really, you know, beat up names, you know, perk up a little bit because people are done selling them for losses. So you get a little January effect. And then we see what happens first few days of January with new flows and whatnot. You know, some of the big ones get sold because now they get paid taxes in 2025. We'll see. You know, if you look here, you know, let's just go right to the S&P cash for this week. This was Thursday, right? Thursday, you had a low of 46.94 right here above the 8-day, a high of 47.38. Futures are up a little bit. They came off. I would think we get some kind of digestion. Wouldn't be so bad, right? If you could go sideways up here for a little bit, let the 8-day catch up, that'd be pretty, you know, pretty constructive. You look at the weekly chart. Some people are like, hey, Red Dog, what do you think happens for the first quarter? I'm like, well, you know, you look here at the weekly chart. First of all, I always post this over the weekend so you could see what you should be doing longer term, and then, you know, actively what's kind of cooking here. So I would think the bears are hoping that at 48.18, which is the highest from 2022, we get some kind of pause so they could start saying, oh, Red Dog, look at the double top, look at the double top. We should probably get a pause there anyway, even if we, you know, if we get there in the next day or so. We're not. But then, you know, they're hoping that that kind of rejects price, and then we come back in and test the 8-day, you know, on a weekly basis. But if we kind of get there and don't pull back, and then we push a little bit above, you know, chances are you get new flows in January, pensions funds, hedge funds, this, that, people caught short. You know, we can get that January move, you know, that puts in a short-term top the third week of January, and then, you know, maybe some news comes out about a slowing economy, and, you know, everyone starts thinking about recession. We start coming in, so this gives the the Fed the right to cut rates, because right now with an S&P at, you know, weekly and monthly highs and stocks behaving well, it doesn't feel like we're in an environment where, you know, they should be cutting rates, right? They just raised them to slow things down. But anyway, so this is what? This is 47.38. That's last week's high. That's 48.18. Let's go back to the daily charts. We'll go through some of them. And look at this beautiful active sequence that we've had above the 8-day moving average pretty much the entire time. After, you know, this was your one little pause that created a bull flag to re-energize. So we're going to see what happens here. You know, look at the IWM. IWM had a really big move. They went right back into major resistance. So now I would think it needs to digest here. I'd like to see this digest above 196, 195.96. Here's your 8-day. It might even come in a little bit. You don't know. We'll see. If it were to come in, you know, down towards the 8-day, which is just say like 191.70, like just say it comes into 191.75-ish. What I'd probably do is I'd probably go out a few weeks and start buying, you know, some calls. So maybe 202s or whatnot, because if you go here and look at the weekly chart of the, you know, IWM, I would think that at some point in the first quarter or two, you know, if we're going to rally first, we should see at least 212 on the IWM. Like right now, look at the size of this move from the bottom end of the range. Last time we were here, you remember, it was in July, and that was before rates peaked. And, inflation kind of peaked then. But anyway, so at some point, if we could digest here a little bit, I think that there's going to be another play, and we'll figure out how to interact and participate, right? We want to participate. Anyway, go back to, this is your daily. So if it were to, break into this gap, you'd probably get a little loose wide action, and then we see, what happens into there. If you look at the IWM right now, up 47 cents. So kind of quiet morning, which makes sense. The Qs, which have led things, also, I would think a little bit of a relaxation, a little bit of a digestion. I actually sold calls coming into today, just to think if we pause for a few days, I could sell some premium, collect some money, and I've been going out and I've been buying a little bit of the 12.29 call. So I'm kind of thinking if we could, come in a little bit these 3 days, collect some premium, and when that happens, accumulate some calls going into the 29th. So if we could burn off a little bit of the overbought condition, and then maybe, here's Christmas, then we get a few big, Christmas rally days, then we get paid on those options. But we'll see. So for today, the Qs have 403.57, which is, right there. If that were to break, then you have, 400. At this point, the Qs are down, not too much, $1.404, still above this. That's how elevated we are. So don't be spoiled, just in case they want to, shake things up. But again, they might not. On Friday at the end of the day, Apple had that news about China government still not letting them use iPhones or whatever. That was kind of odd timing, but we'll see what happens here. At this point, I'd like to see Apple hold above this, Thursday's low, which was what? This was This is 196-ish. Here's your 8-day. So I think it's actually a little bit. It's right there. So if it doesn't come in on that news, it'd be nice if it goes in, a little cruise control. I'm playing for this to take out 199 for 12.29, but we'll see. I'm not in the stock. I might get in the stock depending on how it acts today. If all of a sudden it goes from down $1.40, the buyback is stronger than that news, which I think it will be. Maybe not today. We'll see how it goes. But here's your 8-day underneath it. If it were to break this spot, hey, who knows? Maybe they bring in tech a little bit. So this is the area that if Apple wants to be in cruise control, should hold, which is kind of like 196. This high here is what, 196. The 8 days like 195.60. So we could go like this, make it real easy. 195, 196. If it gets below that, hey, maybe they shake the tree. Maybe, who knows? Maybe we don't get that cruise control into the holiday. But we'll see how that goes. Let the stock tell us. I'm still thinking Amazon's a good play. I still think that at some point, it's really been in this range for November 15th, almost a whole month. It's been right here, perking its head up. So at some point, I'd love to see it get above 150.50 between now and 12.29. I have some calls on. If you look at the start for next year, the weekly chart, this did not make a new all-time high. It didn't even get close to the all-time high. This, to me, has some room, if you want to play it. Actually, now this is 150.57. So if the market does want to push first, then it seems as if, why can't this thing see 160? Not saying it's going to go to 167 straight, but that's one spot before 187. And still, if you would have bought Amazon for pretty much all of 2021, you're still not even back to where it was. It all depends. If you trade active sequences like I do, this is when Amazon broke. Here was your retest. It was pretty much been in a downtrend all the way up until about May. And then May is when, Amazon started to act better. But we'll see if that could happen there. So those are two names I think I'm going to focus on a little bit this week, see how it goes. Meta doesn't look bad. Looks fine. You know, perking the set up a little bit. It's giving us a lot of room, a lot of moves. You know, this is 343. You know, it's definitely a little. Actually, no, it's pretty good. Pretty. It gets a little testy at times. You know, meta. So it depends on what's happening, but all in all, it's looking pretty set up for for the end of the year also. Better than Google for now, but we'll see. So here's what Meta looks like. Meta looks pretty good. So we'll see how that goes. Microsoft was a little weaker last week because of the rebounds. You know, it's still in the bottom end of this spot, not the end of the world, but it's definitely not acting as strong as it did, leading the move into highs. So if we were to draw this out here, you know, here's 384.22. This 383 doesn't matter as much. Here's this. Basically, you know, I wouldn't really call this a bear flag, but it's in the lower end. At least Friday kind of proved that it could take back. Right on Thursday, I was like, oh, Red Dog, Microsoft lost the moving averages, which it did. So if it got out that day, okay. Now it's kind of trying to repair. It's been a great stock this year. Just lately, it's been very choppy. Sometimes, you know, that the small caps had to move while this one didn't do so well. I'm also thinking I want to watch NVIDIA. NVIDIA, as much as everyone focuses on it, it wasn't where the action's been, you know, for the past multiple months. You know, Avago just had a big move. LRCX just had a big move. NVIDIA has just been, you know, in this huge upper channel, right? So question is, at some point, is it going to get above this 494, this 502, 505, and then, you know, have a nice run? Because this was at 480 in July. It was in August. This was November. So it just kind of, this was getting a little wishy-washy. Now it looks a little bit better. So there's a chance that you can get a move over the next 2-3 weeks in the video. We'll see. Like I said, the action was, look what Avago did. Wow. I listed this, what was it, on December 8th to take out $9.99. And sometimes you never know what it's going to do. And P.S., it hit, what was the high here? $11.49. That's a move. I don't even think anyone's really talking about that. But anyway, congratulations if you caught it. AMD looks like it's, you know, getting a little choppy up here. Gave us a really nice trade post earnings. This was your AI event, and now, you know, it's got a little bit of a bull flag. It needs to let the 8-day catch up, so let it catch up. But it's something to keep an eye on for this week. Some people like, Red Dog, congratulations, you hit a bio really big. Because remember, I had a really bad bio 2 years ago. This BBIO is awesome. Okay, Bridge Bio. We started buying options in here. My boy Jose, I wish you well. Hopefully you're watching this. Come back to the Alpha team. You know, gave it to us. The options went from 1 to 16, and then, you know, we were thinking a buyout. Was buying options here that didn't work, and then we were buying a ton, you know, of the 26s. I mean, when it was a 26, 27, the 30s, and it's been on the Alpha team, and finally, actually, expiration was Friday. So without the takeover, you know, it actually wound up, you know, giving you a really big move. So hopefully, you know, the Alpha team did great with it. But I think every now and then I show you guys my VTF, or, you know, where you see the disclosures, and this has been on there pretty much since July. Anyway, the BIOS also had a nice move. The XBI, you know, gave you a big move here. Remember, we were buying options. A little bit of a doji on Friday, so that, you know, XBI could use a little bit of a break. What was less? You know, we had the LABU calls and this and that. So anyway, I think this could still have a move in January. You know, you go to the weekly chart, kind of, you know, has an IWM type feel. Here was your Red Dog reversal sell. That was when the BIOS turned into crap in 2021. Then you had your inside range, it broke, and now this was your last attempt. Nice big move. I don't see why this can't get to 90 or a little bit more. Kind of looks, you know, again, you don't have to be in all of it. This is like what the IWM looks like too. You know, after a pause here, could probably get to 212-ish. So situate yourself thinking about that. What time is it? 6:45. Do I think the energy sector is going to get better? You know, I did catch a decent trade there on Fed Day. It's been out of play. You know, this is kind of resistance again coming into it. All the moving averages are there. Did have a little power for the first time in a little while. So this is, this is right here. So if you were playing it to digest, I would think it's got to digest above 83-ish, and then if it does, maybe there is a bit of a better action there. U.S. Steel is taking over. That's pretty. It's good and bad. U.S. loses another company, but anyway, what's the XLE doing today? The XLE is up 55 cents at 84. Yeah, there could be a little. It's not going to be explosive, but there could be something there. I made money Thursday into Friday. As far as Bitcoin is concerned, it still needs to digest. It had a huge move. A lot of people made really good money with Bitcoin this year. If you did, congratulations. It also played by a lot of the technical rules. What do I mean? I mean, when it's above the 821 day, you're allowed to be long. And when it's below, actively, you don't. Bottom line is this is where most people started to get really excited again. And then it had another move above this 38, hit 45, and now it's trying to hold this 40 area. I would think that, if it does get a move down towards the 50-day, which, it would be probably a good spot to start, accumulating again. You could do Bitcoin a bunch of ways. I do think if you're an asset allocator, okay, what does that mean? It means you have a pie chart, and you have 60% equities, 20% bonds, 10% gold. You should have 10% in Bitcoin also. If you trade Bitcoin, then just use your 821-day moving average. It ignited, digested, went again right here, and now it's just needs a little bit of time. So see what happens if it comes into the what's it called, the 50-day. That's like 38.5. So that's something I would write down. And if you want to trade something that's comparatively, BITO is decent. It's not great, but perhaps if this gets towards this is 1940, getting a little choppy up here. I'd say into this $18 area, if you want to accumulate some calls, maybe this would not be a bad spot, you would think. But again, we'll see how it goes, and we'll act accordingly. So if you happen to be in your office working between now and New Year's, you still need to be prepared. Santa Claus isn't dropping friggin' stock gains in your pocket. You still have, I remember over the summer, I make good money over the summer, and some people are like, oh, the summer trading sucks. I'm like, you know why? Because you're on the beach, you're in the mountains, you're not being prepared. You get at your desk, you think you know what's going on, and that's not the truth. So if you are home for the holidays, make sure to prepare. The last thing you want to do is be here while everyone's on the beach and you're losing money trading. That wouldn't be fun. Might as well go spend your money on the beach and recharge your batteries and come into 2024 better. Anyway, we'll see how it goes. We could get a few days of digestion here, which wouldn't be so bad. The oscillator went out at plus 55. It was plus 70 on Thursday. Let's work our way back towards 30 and then see if we could situate for that following week for some type of additional move, and we'll take it every step by step. Isn't that a song? Alexa, let's see if you can play Step by Step.
Step by Saran from Apple Music.
No, that's not it. All right. I thought it's New Kids on the Block. What was it? Anyway, cheers to you. I have about 35 charts I got to do right now to post them on the Alpha team and put them in Red All Access. I'll put a few in the public Twitter, and we'll see how the day evolves. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate you.